Some believe the discovery of Ormus was most likely only a rediscovery. In ancient Egypt, a precious mineral referred to in many temples and steles was used by the priests and pharaohs in many of their rituals. The powder was made by the priests and used to make ceremonial bread cakes for the pharaohs, so that they might live longer and be closer to God. Centuries later, in 1904, British archaeologist Sir Flinders Petrie stumbled across a hidden temple on Mount Serebit in the middle of the Sinai desert. Inside the temple, he found huge quantities of an unknown white powder that resembled ash, yet strangely, he found no evidence of the fires. A few wayward historians have dared to suggest that this is the very mountain in the Sinai desert under which the Hebrews in 1400 BC, led by Moses out of Egypt, camped during the time of the Exodus. Moses, who according to the unlikely Bible story, had been found in the rushes and adopted by and raised in the Egyptian royal family. Moses, who is much more likely to be the half-Israelite pharaoh Akhenaten, grandson of Tutmosis, banished to the Sinai around 1400 BC for trying to ban the worship of idols, and who developed the notion of a single, faceless god named Aten. As a pharaoh, Moses would have known all of the secrets of the priests and pharaohs. Moses would have known all about the bread of life, made from the white powder of gold. The Egyptians called the powder mufkut, but they knew it was no ordinary mineral. Mufkut means "what is it?" but literally translated, the hieroglyph reads spirit, fire, stone, part magic, part precious mineral. Manna in Hebrew is also translated as "what is it?" Manna, a miraculous edible substance that God provided for the Israelites during their travels in the Sinai, and that was stored by Moses in the Ark of the Covenant. Does this also shed light on the strange story in Exodus when Moses, furious that his people were worshipping an idol of a golden calf, took the golden statue, burnt it in the fire, ground it to a powder, mixed it with water, and made the children of Israel drink of it? Was knowledge of the secret arts of alchemy what the Hebrews had been chosen for? Did Jesus know about these processes? Was he an alchemist? And his alleged progeny, the Knights Templar, who took their name from Solomon's Temple, the last known resting place of the Ark of the Covenant, famed for their secrecy and political power, who created the first international banking system, who amassed more money than the King of France, and who claimed to be the guardians of the Ark of the Covenant. Was their secret actually the knowledge of alchemy?
In late 2002, the Pentagon, using satellites with ground-penetrating radar, would discover a large spherical-shaped cavern with a tunnel leading up to it in the Bucegi Mountains of Romania. Now, normally they would look past something like this and not think much of it, but recently they had made a similar discovery in the undergrounds of Baghdad, Iraq. The only difference, the one in the Bucegi Mountains was much larger, and the mountains had a sphinx nearby. Yes, you heard me, a sphinx, just like the one by the Giza pyramids. So the US would work with Romania and they would both investigate the anomalies. And what they would find would change the course of history as we know it. As the teams approached the entrance in the side of the Bucegi Mountains, something would activate. It was a large force field blocking the entrance. Shortly after, one of the US officials would get a call. The one in Baghdad activated as well. So when one activated, so did the other. Initially, 3 soldiers would try to walk through the force field, but they would die of a heart attack instantly. So the officials would have to take a different approach. In order to deactivate the force field, you had to reach a higher state of consciousness. It took quite some time to discover this, but eventually, many were able to do it. When they finally reached the dome inside the cavern, it also had a force field around it. They opened it the same way. In this, what they would later call the projection room, they would discover perfectly cut large tables and chairs, much too big for present-day humans. They would find over 30 ancient texts written on tablets. That when you slid your hand across them, almost as if a smartphone, they would display a holographic image of the origins of the Earth. Not only that, it displayed every creature that's ever inhabited the Earth and how they came to be. Another station would allow you to mix DNA of any 2 creatures on Earth, then produce a holographic image of what they would look like. The room would have 3 doors, one going to the Giza Sphinx, the other going to Mount Kailash in Tibet. The third is said to have gone to inner Earth. And that's not all. They would even find a large stone chair with what seemed to be attached to it a helmet. Right away you could see that the helmet was much too large for the average human being. The chair was set for a human about 10 to 12 feet tall, and the helmet would fit the head of this human. They figure it was an automated system that would get you to the highest state of consciousness immediately. Eventually, they would discover that it actually allowed you to use your astral body to time travel. As they proceeded, the discoveries would become even more magnificent. Continue downstairs to a lower level. Here they would notice a pillar-shaped chest in the middle of the room. After figuring out how to unlock it, they opened the lid. They would notice a beautiful white light emanating from the chest. Inside was a white dense powder. This would become known as monoatomic gold. This substance would cause a lot of diplomatic tension due to the fact that when consumed, this stuff could make you live for 1,000 years.
Monoatomic Gold by David Icke. I just want to pass on some information that I've come across which may explain shape-shifting and much else, too. I have been chatting today to Brian Despero, my scientist friend in California, and we have been discussing monoatomic gold. This comes in the form of a white powder and has a two-dimensional atomic structure, 1 or 2 atoms working together, while regular gold is a 3-dimensional structure, 10 or more atoms working together. Without going into all the scientific detail, when you consume this monoatomic gold by mouth or injection, it increases the current carrying capacity of the nervous system by 10,000 times. This would allow a person to process fantastic amounts of information like a supercomputer, and when enough has been absorbed, it would allow them to consciously move through other dimensions and shapeshift, because suddenly the brain is activated to open those vast areas that we don't use in today's world. It aligns the brain cells so that they all start talking to each other again. More than that, if you consume enough of this monoatomic gold, your physical body would become luminous, I'm told, so explaining the ancient accounts of the reptilian gods and children of the gods who shone like the sun. Monoatomic gold can be made from regular gold, and it can be processed from certain ores, many of which are found in places like Arizona in the United States. This, I suggest, is the true meaning of the references to gold and gold mining in the Sumerian tablets, and not literally mining for gold, unless that was done to create the monoatomic variety. This substance gives the reptilians amazing abilities to process information and shapeshift because of the staggering amounts of energy they can hold and process. I am sure the ancient Egyptians, Sumerians, Babylonians, and Phoenicians, etc. used this, or more accurately, their ruling elite did, thus giving them a mental potential denied the general public. The same continues today. This was one of the big secrets held within the mystery schools and passed on to the top levels of modern secret society network. Monoatomic gold also has unbelievable healing properties in that it aligns all the cells to carry phenomenal amounts of light energy, thus dispersing the blockages and imbalances we call disease or illness. David Icke.
Okay, I'm filming. So what we're attempting to do is create Manna or Ormus directly into the Dead Sea itself. So it's what's written about in the Bible. This is the place where a lot of the prophets came. You see Jordan in the background. And the Manna or Ormus is also talked about a lot by the Sumerian cultures and the Egyptian culture, where they call it Mufkat. And they have hieroglyphs that depict the Mufkat, which are actually tetrahedrons in a bowl, in a dish, which you can see online. So what we've got here is specific gases, mainly hydrogen and oxygen, with essential salts. But once we actually, well, this is considered the fire in the alchemical process. So once we actually add this to the Dead Sea water, we should see the white Manna or Ormus or Mufkat form pretty much instantaneously. So I don't know when the last time this would have been done here, but it might have been done for a long time. And it's probably been done in many ways, in many forms. I think even that's what people like Moses and some of the pharaohs were producing, and a form of food because it contains all of the essential minerals and salts for our bodies to function, plus potentially the Ormus, or those minerals existing in other energetic states, or even lending themselves from other dimensions to expand our consciousness or connect us more deeply to who we truly are. So let's put some into the Dead Sea and see what happens. So there you go, you can see it forming straight away. If we dry that out in the sun, that'll actually form Manna in a cake form, which will basically be solidified liquid crystal. And I can feel the heat in my hands from the alchemical process taking place as it happens. I'll pour some in, and you filming, so you can't really pick it up with your hands, but feel the heat if you want with one of your hands.
Wow.
So there we go, we're producing Manna in the Dead Sea. And even as it sits in there longer, I can feel it starting to solidify as a crystal. And it's taking geometrical form. See it starting to form its own geometry.
Thank you, David.
Wow. You can actually see it forming geometrically the longer it stays in there. See it forming crystalline structures. I don't know if you can get that or not. See, this is much more crystalline in its structure than that.
Yeah.
Softer. Oh, I'm just going to get back in the water. That's hard on my feet.
Well, taste tester, David.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be salty.
It's going to be beautiful. Wow, you can really taste the Ormus.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's actually not that salty. It's actually not that salty, bro.
Okay, I'll hand this to you, and I can have some.
Yeah. I won't be able to film you because my hands are wet, but
Yeah. For myself, here we go. Hello, everybody. Wow.
so you've got the initial salty taste from the water, but underneath that, can you actually taste that Manna Ormus taste that you tasted in them almost before?
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So the bit that I actually got out, it was more crystalline, had less salt than that that's in your hand. I'll see if I can find some more.
Wow.
Oh yeah, there's some out here, I'll get it. I'll bring it in.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible, Davidos.
So what we can do as well is rinse it with spring water to take away all of that salty taste, and you'll just be left with the pure Manna or pure Ormus.
Yep.
Just trying to stand up on these sharp salt rocks. See, it's going to be salty off my fingers, but underneath that salt. Do you want some?
Yes. So good.
Yeah, it's still pretty salty, but what we'll do, from being in the water, but what we'll do is we'll gather some up, we'll take it out and we'll wash it.
Yep.
I'm going to have a rinse in the spring water anyway to get the mud off.
Amazing.
You to float.
Amazing.
So good.
Oh, Davidos.